From Bowl Season Radio, this is the East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown on SiriusXM. At the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Frisco, Texas, and the All-Star Players Hotel, here is your host, Brian Estridge.
And it is game week here in North Texas as we get ready for the East-West Shrine Bowl. Welcome in to this, our countdown show, to get you ready for Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central from AT&T Stadium, when next year's NFL stars begin to make their presence known in an all-star game that benefits not only us as fans, an opportunity to see what the next generation of NFL stars looks like, but also benefits, of course, Shriners Children's Charities. We'll talk about that more as the night goes on. I'm Brian Estridge, along with Justin Fuente, the coach, ready to start to break things down. All right, it's here. It is game week. They've been here since Friday, have these players. It is a quick turn, obviously, to get ready. But you and I have had a chance to watch practices. You know what? It feels like, and I want to get into install a little bit later on, but it feels like these guys are starting to gel a little bit already. Hard to imagine you could pull this off.
Yeah, these games are so much fun. They really are, because, you know, these guys have all, you know, had decorated collegiate careers, and this is the first step. This is like, you know, just a little baby food on your way to the NFL. You know, it's just like an hors d'oeuvre. And they get together with guys they've played against or people that they've known, and then hit the field. And practices are easy. Like, watching practice, you can tell the guys, like, they don't have to do hours of individual drills and all this stuff. Like, they just put the ball down, they stretch, bend over, touch their toes, do a couple jumping jacks, put the ball down, and start 1st and 10 and start playing ball.
Right.
So practices are fun. They've been energetic. The guys seem to be on the same page. You know, you haven't seen, you know, some of those things that you typically associate with an all-star game in terms of practice, like, you know, continued mess-ups or miscommunications. It's just kind of flowed all right in, and they've had a great day's work today, at least.
You know, I'm sitting there watching it today, and I'm thinking to myself, especially when we focused on the offenses, this is what 7-on-7 has done for us, because that's what you're essentially watching. These guys are used to playing 7-on-7 every day of the year, and so they're able to walk out, step on the field with new receivers, you know, with a little bit of a new system. Route tree stays the same, and make the throws and get it done.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have been throwing the ball so much for so long.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have found a way as coaches to make football year-round anyway. Mm-hmm. And 7-on-7 is the way that has become year-round. And there's just so many more kids almost treating 7-on-7 as a sport throughout the country, that when they all get together to go play at a deal like this, it's just second nature to them. They've been doing it forever.
You know, obviously, folks like to focus on the quarterback, and we will tonight in this show. Tomorrow night we'll kind of change focus a little bit as we get closer to the game on Thursday. But tonight, let's talk quarterback. And a little later on, we're going to hear from Shedeur Sanders, who was here yesterday, was on the original roster. We won't see him Thursday night, but he was part of this group. Shedeur is a guy that some say may be the number one pick in the draft. I thought it was interesting that he showed up here. He said he showed up just to talk to his teammates and let them know what the deal was, he said. But then also there are interviews taking place, and we can't miss out or not talk about the fact that may be the bigger part of this whole week, not just the game on Thursday. It's what's happening here at the Hyatt Regency in Frisco, Texas, which are interviews constantly with all 32 teams.
Yeah, it's happening literally just around the corner from us right now, and that's a huge part. You know, these scouting departments for these NFL teams are tasked with disseminating a tremendous amount of information, and part of that is sitting down with these young guys and trying to get a feel for them, ask them questions, try and figure out how they learn, what they're capable of. Also dig into, you know, some of their background and in terms of what motivates them, how to get the most out of them when they do make it to the NFL. And then obviously there's usually, with some guys, there's some questions they'll have that'll be tough questions, you know, some character questions, maybe some guys made some mistakes when they were younger that they'll have to answer for in these meetings. But that's a huge part of that. And I'm sure a lot of these guys, particularly, someone like Shedeur that has a chance to go pretty early, depending on how that all falls with quarterbacks and everything. Getting a lion's share of those knocked out will be very beneficial to him as he goes to the combine and goes through this whole process, because there's just a tremendous – it's one thing to meet with a team. It's another thing to meet with every single one of them.
Right.
And getting all that groundwork laid and kind of, for lack of a better term, out of the way, I think is pretty beneficial for those higher-ranking guys.
And by the way, if you don't think that NFL teams think this is important, I counted yesterday. There were 14 Chicago Bears staff members here. 14. They said 14 here. So you got 14 guys sitting across from you at a table, asking you questions. That's important stuff, isn't it?
It is, and they'll grill you too.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the fun questions when you're a quarterback are, talk to me about what you did on offense. Talk to me, get on the board and start to draw up it's 3rd and 8. What do you want called?
Right.
And then tell me how it was taught to you and that sort of stuff. And that's the fun part of it when you're a quarterback and you get to talk ball, quote unquote, talk ball with those guys, because they enjoy it, they know it, and they want to hear you explain what you've been taught.
Speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk to one right now. Cam Miller from North Dakota State. We had a chance to catch up with him earlier. This is a guy, you think about his record alone. That to me speaks enough. He's got 56 starts under his belt. He's 45-11. At a program that plays at a really high level in FCS, that knocks off FBS opponents, year in and year out. I mean, that's getting it done for the Bison. That's a guy you got to consider, don't you?
100%. And there'll be a quarterback get taken late in this draft that plays well in the NFL. It's just what team can find it. Is it this youngster, or is it somebody else?
Yeah, it's kind of welcome back to Frisco for Cam Miller, who of course played at North Dakota State with the Bison. They won it in 2022 here, the FCS championship. Won it in 2025 this year. He was the MVP. It's kind of like coming home here to Frisco for you, Cam, isn't it?
Yeah, I love this place. People up north call this place Fargo South, so it's pretty special to be here again.
All right, tell me how the week has been. I know it's early on here, but you got a playbook you got to learn. You got to learn nuances from teammates. You got to build a rapport with receivers and an offensive line. What's that feel like?
For me, it's a fun challenge. I'm very grateful to be in this opportunity and in this position here at the Shrine Bowl, and to play with some of the best players in the country is also, a lot of fun for me, and learning the playbook has been great. I think North Dakota State prepared me well to handle this situation. Yeah,
that was going to be my next question. How different is it? I mean, is it more similar than you thought it would be?
I do think it's very similar. I think NDSU prepared me well because we run a pro-style offense. We have a great coaching staff, and I think they helped me learn stuff quicker than most people, and I think that's what's really helped me pick up on the playbook quick.
Yeah. Cam, talk to me about what you've heard from the coaches as well as any one-on-one interviews. What are they telling you about your game right now?
Just that they've been impressed with what they've seen, and there's definitely areas of growth, but I think winning a national championship last year really helped myself. Just playing with such a great team and going out on top. I think NFL teams want a quarterback that can win games, and that's what we did at North Dakota State, and I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway that I've taken.
Yeah, the Bison have great talent, but you show up here and there's talent here as well. I mean, do you find yourself every once in a while going, oh, that guy's pretty good?
Yeah, you walk around the room and you look at guys and you're like, he's a dude.
Yeah.
And just to be out on the same practice field competing against them is awesome. It's so much fun, and I'm very excited to be here.
What do you want game night to be like? What do you want it to be like when you get your opportunity here?
I just want the game to slow down, and just want to feel comfortable with the playbook and everything. I feel good about it now, but just be in control. I think that's when I play my best, is when I'm in control and the game slows down and I'm going through my reads and really just being my best self.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
That's Cam Miller, the North Dakota State quarterback, joining us here on our East-West Shrine Bowl countdown. You can hear it in his voice there. I mean, this is a guy who is experienced, doesn't get rattled. We saw it in practice today. Probably shouldn't underestimate the power of the offense. It was very similar to what we see in the NFL on Sundays.
Well, I mean, Cam has got a leg up on some people that he's played under the center.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many guys that have never really played under the center. And, they're going to ask you to do both in the NFL, be able to play in the gun and be able to play under center. He has run a pro-style offense, and maybe one of the most overused terms ever, pro-style offense and West Coast offense.
Right.
Like people say it all the time, but he has called plays at the line of scrimmage. He has checked plays. He's called 2 plays in the huddle, gotten up to the line of scrimmage, and not had his coach check it for him, but he's done it. So, he's learned how to play the position, not just read plays, but how to play and orchestrate and run the offense from both under center and in the gun. And as a result, has won a whole bunch of football games and been incredibly productive. And to me, when you look at him, he's always been a good athlete, but he has progressed through his career as a passer. He was a guy that could throw the ball and was a good athlete, and now he is an accurate, accomplished passer. And ending his college career, now taking a step up, obviously in competition, to try and make those same improvements.
Yeah, you think about his decision-making has improved a ton. You talk about his efficiency, 33 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions this past year for Cam Miller, who came in as a thrower, leaves as a passer. Was a pretty good thrower back in the way. By the way, his ERA in high school, .60.
That's pretty good.
.60 as a pitcher in high school. Hey,
was that your GPA?
Yeah, very similar, very similar. Hey, when we come back on our East-West Shrine Bowl countdown here on Sirius XM, let's talk to another quarterback. Payton Thorne's a guy who started at Michigan State, goes to Auburn to play in the Hughes-Free system, loses his job, wins his job, and now here he is with a chance to play at the next level. We'll do that when we continue. He's Justin Fuente. I'm Brian Estridge. We continue with more after this timeout.
If your child experiences a burn, Shriners Children's is here with world-renowned burn care. The same doctors who innovate procedures for the most serious burn cases are ready with the most advanced treatments for pediatric burn injuries, no matter the degree. Best of all, our care is provided regardless of a family's ability to pay or insurance status. Visit us at shrinerschildrens.org to see why we're the place to turn for any burn. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Now, back to the East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown.
Welcome back into Frisco, Texas, here on Sirius XM. East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown continues. Brian Estridge along with Justin Fuente alongside the coach as we kind of focus in here on night one on the quarterbacks. We talked about Shedeur Sanders, the fact that he did come in. We're going to hear from him a little bit later on in the show. We turn our attention now to a guy really got a second life, I think is the best way to put it this year. Payton Thorne from Auburn. He's a son of a coach. His dad was an offensive coordinator in college football. We know that back at Western Michigan back in the day. Starts his career at Michigan State. Has a pretty good couple of years there, and then transfers to Auburn to play in the Hugh Freeze system. Loses the job. And then we know about the struggles that Auburn had this year. Ends up winning it. Solid play down the stretch, gets the invite here. I mean, this guy's kind of been through it, and to me, there's value in that, Justin, the fact that he has shown some perseverance to get back out there again.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, we all want to play well, and we want our kids to play well, and but the bottom line is it's not all going to be rainbows and sunshine,
Right,
it just doesn't work that way, and when you are faced with adversity, I think Payton's shown that he can bounce back from that and acknowledge, a little bit of handling adversity is acknowledging that it's your own doing, and that you've got to find a way to go be productive again. And, he's been exposed to different types of systems now, and maybe he has a good feel for what his skill set is. Maybe at Auburn he was, quite possibly asked to do some things that were slightly different than he had done before, and now he has a better feel for where he's at as a player and in his development. But I think it speaks volumes about the young man that he continues to battle through, and he's here now.
And another guy with a lot of football under his belt. I mean, in 2021 at Michigan State, he threw for 3,200 yards, 27 touchdowns. In 2022, he was a 12-game starter for 2,700 yards. Then he transfers to Auburn, had 16 touchdowns in that first year in 2023. Then he, this year, beats out the 2 freshmen for the starter spot, was benched in week 2, I guess it was, after the loss against Cal. 2 weeks later, he comes back in, and he ends up throwing for 21 touchdowns and 9 picks and about 2,700 yards. I mean, this is a guy, that's a lot of games for folks to see.
There is no substitute for experience, especially at that position.
Yeah.
And the more looks you can see, and coaches have gotten really good at simulating the game. Technology has helped that. Practice habits have helped that. Video film study has helped that. Teaching techniques have helped that. Video games have helped that. But it's still not the same. Mm-hmm. And there is no substitution for just getting in there and taking snaps and standing in the pocket and having partial vision because you're getting rushed and the fans are on you. Like all of those emotions and things that you have to go through to play the position and play it well. You cannot simulate those things. And all experience is good experience when it comes to playing quarterback.
Yeah, it's the old Malcolm Gladwell book, right? You got to master something, you got to do it 10,000 times.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to get rep after rep after rep. Payton Thorne has done that. We talked to him earlier today about the fact that he's been drinking out of a fire hose, getting ready for this one in preparation for Thursday night's East-West Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's going well. Everything gets more comfortable the more time you have with it. I think we got the playbook like the day before we got here, so it's been a rush trying to learn it for sure with all these meetings and everything. But it's good practice. Trying to learn things quick and also get sleep and do all that stuff. So, but I think it's been good. It's been a good experience here so far, and it's definitely something that you can use moving forward.
Payton, you've had the experience of going from Michigan State to Auburn, and so you had to learn a new system. You had to learn new personnel. You had a little more time to do it. Yeah. Talk about the learning your personnel part of it, though, because you got to know what they like as well, right?
Yeah, no doubt. You got different guys that can have different skill sets. Nobody has the same skill set. But the great thing about being here is, there's nobody here that's, not good. Yeah. So everyone has some skill set of some sort here that they play to their benefit. So, obviously you try to learn your receivers and your tight ends first, and also get a feel for your backs and getting them the ball out of the backfield. And but it's been great. It's been fun playing with these guys and getting to see some faces that I played against. They're playing against them here as well on defense, and getting to play with a couple of them on offense too. So, but it's been good.
How do you build a rapport with that offensive line? That's important for you, man.
Yeah, I'd say the best place to do it is eating meals. Yeah. Eating lunch, eating dinner, sitting down with those guys, getting to know them, where they're from, what they like to do. And obviously that's extremely important, and you want it to be authentic. You want to be real. A lot of the offensive linemen are great guys, and that's what I've learned over my career is, you can be good friends with those guys, even though you're not at all similarly built. But, it's fun. Those guys are good guys.
What about feedback that you've gotten here in the first couple of days? What are these coaches telling you in your one-on-one meetings? What are you hearing from teams?
Yeah, obviously it's a different game when you get to this level. I feel like I played at the highest level of college football and getting to experience the Big Ten and the SEC. But obviously the NFL is the top dog, and that goes without saying. But, there's more to the game. At times it can be simpler, honestly. But, the playbook's going to be bigger. You're going to have to learn quicker, and there's more pressure. There's a lot of pressure at a place like Auburn, but in the NFL, it's, you're fighting every day for your job, right. And so that's something I feel like I have to my advantage. I feel like I've already done that before in college, and so stepping into a place where you're fighting for your job every day, I feel like I've kind of done that already, so I think I'm going to lean on that. Yeah, how about final question? How about Eric and the guys with the East-West Shrine, and then obviously the folks here in DFW? Have they taken care of you? Absolutely. It's been a first-class experience. These guys have put on a great thing so far, and I'm sure it's going to end great as well. So I really appreciate them for the invite. It's been an honor being here, and a lot of great people here, and like I said, first-class experience. That's Payton Thorne, the Auburn quarterback, joining us here. And you heard him mention there that I've been in a battle all my career to be the starter. So not intimidated by the fact that it does become a business when you get to that next level. Yeah, he's not scared to compete, is what he's saying. And he's already been through competitions for playing time and had to battle back to get back on the field. And, having been through the fire is certainly going to help him out because, the job that he's applying for is not an easy one. And they're pretty selective with who they let hang around. And you got to, in order to get a job, they've got to want you over somebody else. They've got to tell somebody else that they don't want them in the building. And he doesn't seem scared of that
prospect.
You know what was interesting there and what he said to me that kind of stood out? When we talked to Cam Miller at North Dakota State, he pointed out the fact that he came from a pro-style system, and so things were similar. You heard Payton Thorne say there, hey, it's going to be different. Do you think he's talking about terminology and the fact that the systems will be different? Do you think that's what he's talking about?
Yeah, I think he's the way the game is played. Although every time you watch TV on Sunday, it looks more and more like college football, particularly on the offensive side. And part of that is because that's where the NFL gets their quarterbacks, is from college football. But the game is still different, and the style of offense is different. I also heard him say sometimes it's a little easier because, like, what some of these college kids are asked to do now is maybe it's not as the reads aren't as complicated, like the RPO game,
right?
But the number of different reads they may have, expands. So they may have 3 plays that are a will linebacker read, no good versus field pressure, and then 4 plays that are a weak side safety read, and 3 plays that are a Sam linebacker read. Like they may not be very complicated, but the number of different reads and different reactions has increased in that game. Where in the NFL game, they do some of that still,
right?
And they've been really good at it, and some of it's really neat. But there's more of a full field concept alert, put onto the quarterback's shoulders.
Yeah, and it's on his shoulders, but also the offensive line too, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You see that in the NFL more.
Well, 100%. And Peyton's already off to a good start because he knows the secret to getting to the offensive linemen is through food.
Yes,
okay, like
course.
He learned that quickly. Definitely the son of a coach right there. He's been coached up well.
You can tell. He's Justin Fuente. I'm Brian Estridge. We're talking here, obviously, in Frisco. The East-West Shrine Bowl is coming up on Thursday night. It is an 8 o'clock kick on the East Coast, 7 o'clock Central Time for that one here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the home of the Cowboys. That's where this game will take place. You'll hear it here on Sirius XM. Coming up, we're going to hear from Shedeur Sanders. But first, I want to kind of slip in a little bit of install talk, and then talk more about it when we're talking to Shedeur, or talking in that segment about Shedeur. You heard him mention the fact that they got the playbook the day before they arrived. Okay, say that was on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's really hard install days. We saw them out there today. You got a sense 4 days in that these guys knew where to go. Yeah,
they seem to have picked it up pretty well. And sending it to them a day ahead of time, if I'm the quarterback, like, I'm walking into the first meeting and I know it all. I don't care if I got to stay up all night. When they send it to you, like, these guys are going to start devouring it so that when they walk into the meeting, they know what's going on. But the good news is that the other side of the ball, where it gets complicated for installation, is based on what you're seeing. And the good news is the other side of the ball, in these games, the defense is restricted in what they're allowed to do. So when you don't have to worry about the corner blitzing, it's a relief.
Right.
And so you don't have to be on top of all of that stuff. It's more about, these are the couple looks we're going to see, and these are the plays we're going to go attack it now. Let's put these plays into families so maybe we can call some of them at the line of scrimmage. So versus 1 high, on this check we want to get to this, and versus 2 high we want to get to this run, which is, you see them doing that in practice today when both teams, the quarterbacks go to their helmets, they've called 2 plays, they're checking the play at the line of scrimmage to the second play.
All right, we're going to get into some of the terminology and how they're coming up with what is a much smaller playbook, even though one they received the day before. It is a smaller playbook here for this offensive install. We'll get into that a little bit later on. We'll hear from Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado quarterback, could be the #1 player in the draft. We'll hear from him in his own words when we continue next. It is East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown, live here on Sirius XM.
If your child has a common orthopedic condition, that doesn't mean you can only get common treatments. You can choose Shriners Children's. Our world-class care is not limited to insurance networks or to what's been done before. The same doctors who innovate treatments for the most complicated orthopedic issues will help your child grow and develop properly. See what we do at shrinerschildrens.org. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Now, back to the East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown.
Welcome back into Frisco, Texas. Brian Estridge along with Justin Fuente, the coach, alongside. As we count you down to Thursday night, that is the big one, the East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Kind of signifies the end of the college football world, if you will, and that is part of bowl season. The East-West Shrine game will kick at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. All right, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, a former Cowboy, Shedeur Sanders, has a son, obviously, that has garnered a lot of attention. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback at Colorado. Some say will be the number one player taken in the draft, potentially. You and I were talking about the way the quarterback situation is. You look at who's out there, and you could make the case that Shedeur might be the number one quarterback prospect for these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That case can be made. You know, quarterbacks are just graded on such a different scale when it comes to the NFL draft. It's if you need a quarterback, you have to move up to get him, and it's kind of like its own grading scale there. So conversely, guys can fall.
Yes.
Guys can fall. Aaron Rodgers, famously fell dramatically. So, it's a need-based deal, but it looks good for him. He is a very, very good player, obviously, very accomplished player. According to the experts, it's not been graded as a great quarterback class coming out.
Right.
So that even, enhances the value of the good ones when there's few supply. So we know how that can go.
Oh, yeah, demand and supply, right? Shiloh is here as well, by the way. His brother, he's playing defensive back. He's working out. He will play on Thursday night. Shedeur will not, but he did spend some time with the media. What we thought we would do is we would hear from Shedeur Sanders in his own words this week, all right? And we may start and stop this and react to what he had to say. But first off, let's hear from Shedeur. And he starts off our conversation by talking about being here in Frisco and what it means to be a part of the East-West Shrine Bowl.
I'm excited and I'm proud to be here to represent this game also and bring more attention to it. I like that I'm able to get in the forefront of everything and they're able to understand me and ask me whatever question they want. I'm not ducking, I ain't hiding, I'm right here live in the flesh, able to answer whatever question is out there. I ain't know your parents, being involved and wanting the best for you is a problem. Right. I think as parents, each and every one would want the best for their kids, so the fact that he has an opportunity to do that for me and he has the best quarterback in the country, he's supposed to do that. Yeah, I'm just a player, so I'm just thankful for whatever situation, whoever drafts me, I know I'll be able to change their program. It's not what I think, it's what I know I could bring. It's them just understanding and understand my personality, being able to see it. They see media, they see cameras, they see everything, and not everybody has the best and greatest intentions to represent me well. So I just came here and to represent the game, to bring attention to the game, and to meet people so they can understand.
Now I'm going to stop it right there because I thought that was interesting that he said, hey, listen, they see me from the cameras, they see the media, they see all that, and not all of that was shown in the best light. Like the people who are sharing that video or sharing that information weren't necessarily out there trying to make me look good. And I thought that was interesting to hear him say that, and a mature statement, too, to say, listen, that's why I want him to meet me, to get to know me in person.
Yeah, I certainly don't blame him. When you, again, for whatever it's worth, but when you're the starting quarterback, you get a certain amount of attention.
Right.
When you're a very good starting quarterback, you get more attention. When your dad's the head coach, you get even more. When your dad's the head coach and NFL Hall of Famer, you get more. And then you add on top of that, Shedeur doesn't seem to shy away from the attention. Like he enjoy. At least it appears to me that he enjoys that. Yeah. So he's facing, mountains of attention, and it's not all going to be positive. No. That's just the way it goes. If you're going to throw yourself into there, you got to understand that. But I do appreciate what he says there with the acknowledgement that that's a fact, and also, I'm here, I'm open book, I'm here to go meet with these teams. I'm not trying to hide from anyone. They can ask me anything they want, and I'm going to tell them the truth, and we're gonna have these discussions as part of, developing the relationship for potentially a franchise, at least in his mind, a franchise changing football player.
Yeah, here's more of Shedeur Sanders in his own words from this week.
You know you can bring.
A lot of wins.
What's your relationship like with Cam Ward, and what's kind of the banter like? Is this
Cam? Yeah, we friends. It's always friendly competition. A lot of people in the media try to always put us against each other, but we're family and we're friends at the end of the day before all this stuff happened. I mean, I highs and lows myself, even being in Jackson State and being in Colorado, so I understand how to handle any pressure, any adversity, and I'm built for this. He always instilled work and greatness in us as a young age. He made sure we woke up in the morning, make sure we eat breakfast, and made us get on the field and run. So that was the thing. He always instilled work and always instilled discipline and character when it comes to everything on and off the field.
I thought that was a good point, too, that people probably don't give Deion enough credit for, in that they do work.
Certainly they do.
You can tell they've worked at their craft, that these guys could play.
Yeah, they're like, you're right. What they don't get enough credit for is their dedication to their craft.
Right.
And what probably Deion doesn't get enough credit for is, the first rule of being a father is be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so I mean, there's a lot to be celebrated, in my opinion, in this whole crazy situation that's very, very, very unique. But you're right; they don't get enough credit for their work ethic.
All right, here's more with Shedeur.
Did he FaceTime you, I guess, during that Titans interview, and what was that like?
Yeah, Dad, he kept calling me. I told him at the end of the day, it's over with. I got a sore on my own now. So, of course, he missing me right now. He should be heading back today home. He was just checking on if I went to the house last night. No, I'm excited. I meant to, and I need to call Coach Sherman and just thank him for everything, the experience and the relationship that we have. Because truly, when I first got in meetings here, this terminology, a lot of the same things, and the way how they go about their business is the same. So I'm thankful for Coach Sherman, and I just got to make sure he truly know that. And
that goes back to our previous conversation. He's talking about the offense at Colorado, similar to what he's seeing now from these NFL teams.
Yeah, and it helps when there is some carryover. They may not be called the same things, but if you're trying to accomplish the same thing or it's taught in a similar way, obviously that helps with retention. When you first start out learning a new offense, you have this old offensive terminology in your mind, and you're really learning a new language.
Yes.
But anything that's similar is automatically easier to retain because you can just link it to the old word that you used to call it in the previous offense. So, it sounds like that he's had some of that carryover in some of his meetings here.
Yeah, and when Deion brought Coach Sherman in this year, that was one of the priorities, bringing a guy with an NFL system, and it has paid off for him. Here's more with Shedeur.
that was it. We remember being at the FCS level when nobody was around, no cameras, no anything, and we're here now, and talks of being the #1 pick. So I'll be training back and forth at Dad's house. Thankfully, he built a compound where we have everything we need. So I'm glad, he did that, and we have those resources. And at Colorado, right after players get done working out and lifting, I want to go in there also to where it's free. I'm working out where it's free at. I mean, you got to cut on the tape. Yeah, I know I'm worthy of doing everything I put my mind to, so I'm always worthy of doing whatever. HBCUs is definitely my foundation, and I'm excited to be a part of that class and be a part of that group and that committee of people. It's definitely a truly grateful experience going there and experience that, and knowing that's my foundation, and going to a Power 5 and experiencing that also. So we changed the program in Jackson. We went to Colorado, changed the program, and we did everything people didn't think we was able to do. So that's why I know I'm the most guaranteed risk you could take. The process with my brother's fun. I got my other brother right here too. We got Dan Jr. right there. So the process has been very fun. Even my long lost brother Travis right now. So everything been fun, and it's truly thankful. It's everything I pray for when I take a knee in the end zone before the games, that all of his family is together and we're all happy. Dad went through the process himself, and he was the best to do it. So getting guidance and getting his knowledge of everything is almost like a cheat code. So I'm just thankful that he was able to be there for me, and he's able to be there for each and every player that that's at the program and that he's able to support, and that's able to touch.
My wife and I were talking last night. She had heard some of this audio, and she said you could tell family's important. And you can when you listen to Shedeur talking about his father. When you hear him talking about how his father, texting him, wanting to know if he made it to the house, things of that nature. He's missing me right now. He's got his brothers around him. There's something to be said for that.
100%. And I agree with you. We could all learn more about that. Stop. Put the football aside and just talk about what's truly important.
Right.
What are the one or two or three things in your life that are truly important, and you can tell with the Sanders family, it is family, and they take care of each other.
Well, and he said it early on in this. We kind of let it play through when he said, "I didn't know it was ever bad when your parents wanted the best for you."
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's totally true.
Yeah.
Do anything you can for your kiddos.
Yeah, what a great answer.
Yes. All right, real quickly, here's some more with Shedeur.
They're surprised, finally able to meet me. It's not what the media portrays it to be. I'm a smiling guy, and I'm always happy.
What do you think? How do you think the media portrays it?
I don't know. It's a lot of negativity out there, and the best thing that gets clicks is negativity. So we just know everything we do is positive, and we do everything on a positive note. It's truly amazing coming back home, having this type of experience, learning more about the Shriners and the children and everything. It was truly eye-opening. I heard about the game multiple times, and I had some players even at Jackson State come play in the game, but I'm just thankful that I was able to see it myself, and thankful that a lot of these coaches came out here to see me and meet with me also, so then it brings more attention to other players and my other teammates in this situation. I came here for a purpose, for a reason, to meet with the team so they can understand me and get to know me. Decision making, that's the biggest and best thing you can do as a quarterback. That's what my skill set is decision making. So I don't ever let anything alter my mind or let anything get in the way of me not being in my right mind. So this decision making as a quarterback position for my skill set, what I like to do, sit in the pocket and throw it, that's the best attribute. So Dad, we grew up different. We always had nice houses and everything, but we grew up, I'd say, to 10 years old, 10 minutes from here in Prosper. Then he moved across town to Cedar Hill, and he put us in a school in the inner city. So that's when we got a different type of attitude and a different type of grit to us, because he made sure he understand, we have a nice house, but this is all my stuff. This isn't your stuff. So then we inherited that mindset. So us going to, in any situation, we comfortable wherever we at. It'll be very exciting. I know we're going to put up a lot of wins. That's the biggest thing is not the stats, not anything else. It's the wins that matter. I experienced that, my junior year being at Colorado, that stats numbers don't really matter. We just got to make sure we always get completions, take less sacks, and win a lot of games. So that's what's important to me. We always been winners from the very beginning of our career. We go back and look at history, won 4 state championships, then we went to Jackson, won 2 championships, then we came here and we changed the program at a Power 5. So everything that we try to do, we did it. Everything we put our mind to, we doing it. So I'm just excited to finish and do everything I got to do at the next level and lead a franchise. I'm concerned on what I got going on right now, and I'm just focused on the future and what I'm able to do and what I'm capable of doing. So I just know I'm going to change the franchise and be happy to be the leader of a team. Yeah, that's what's engraved in me is legendary. That's the word of choice that fits me overall. There's nothing that it'll be extremely hard for somebody to replicate and do what we did in my career so far and in life overall. So that's why legendary means so much to me. It's that mindset. It's the way you go about yourself. It's everything to me, and it means a lot to me also. So I'm thankful. That's the word that best describes me.
All right, legendary, he says, the best way to describe him.
Well, he's going to get plenty of opportunities to prove that.
Yes.
Not too distant future, I can tell you that much.
I did like what he said Deion told him. All this stuff is mine.
Yeah, that's right.
This isn't y'all's. Y'all got to go get your own stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Deion basically said, I'm rich, not you.
Exactly. So get to work, fellas. I love it, yes. All right, we're going to react more to what Shedeur had to say. We're going to talk a little bit more about what this matchup looks like on Thursday night. We'll do that when we continue with our East-West Shrine Bowl countdown live here on Sirius XM.
If your child has a common orthopedic condition, that doesn't mean you can only get common treatments. You can choose Shriners Children's. Our world-class care is not limited to insurance networks or to what's been done before. The same doctors who innovate treatments for the most complicated orthopedic issues will help your child grow and develop properly. See what we do at shrinerschildren's.org. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Now, back to the East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown.
Welcome back into Frisco East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown here on Sirius XM. Been a quarterback-heavy night here tonight. We heard from Cam Miller at North Dakota State, a guy who sits at 45-11 all-time. We heard from Payton Thorne, of course, the Auburn quarterback who started a couple of years at Michigan State, got 2 years under his belt in Auburn as well. And then in his own words just now, Shedeur Sanders, a little over 7 minutes of just listening to Shedeur kind of lay it out, why he's here. What he thinks of that he can bring to a franchise, how he's prepared for that next level, and the confidence level. I mean, if nothing else, Justin, you got to say that oozes with confidence, does it not?
Well, if nothing else, he's also already been accustomed to the fishbowl.
Yeah.
You know, like this, he's like going to play quarterback in the NFL is going to be different for him, but not as different as it is for most people. I mean, he's been in it for a while, and he doesn't lack the confidence, and that's wonderful because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times when, you know, you're going to struggle. You know, Jaden Daniels makes it look easy, but that doesn't happen very often. And when you struggle, you got to call in your own self-belief to keep working hard and know you're going to fight your way out of it.
You know, you get the sense that wherever he's drafted, say the New York Giants, it ain't too big for him. The stage is not too big.
No, like I mean, it's just the stage will get bigger.
Yes.
I mean, he's been living on such a large stage for so long in such a public eye that he hasn't had a normal life in some time. And when he gets thrown in the spotlight, it's not going to be that big a deal to him.
Yeah, and you think that what he has been through, he mentioned Jackson State, the fact that he played in HBCU, and there weren't a lot of lights and cameras on him. Had success there, then goes to Colorado. I will say this. I had a chance to see him play up front and personal both years. He got better. Shedeur, yeah. I mean, he has improved over the years, and he has a terrific arm. You know, he can put it on the money, and he can sling it 80 yards. So,
well, they say one of the important physical attributes of an NFL quarterback is your accuracy.
Yeah.
I do believe that he is an accurate thrower of the ball, and I agree with you. From watching, I haven't seen him in person, but from watching him on TV and in some tape, he took too many sacks. Not this season, but the season before. And in my opinion, they got better on the offensive line, which helped. But some of those were on him.
Yeah.
And he made a concerted effort to get the ball out of his hands. It's hard because you're an athletic guy and you want to make all the plays. But sometimes you just got to throw it away and live to play the next down. Try and talk your dad into going for it on fourth down, you know. But you're right. He has developed. He has continued to improve as a quarterback.
But he does have the ability to extend plays, too.
He certainly can, and he's made a bunch of plays with his feet. You can tell by listening to the interview, like he wants to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball, which is, you know, he's not the biggest guy out there, but he has certainly shown the ability to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball.
And there's a toughness to him. You know, because you mentioned the fact that he took too many sacks last year or year before last. I mean, there is a toughness to him that I think maybe doesn't get talked about enough either.
I agree. Watching him from afar, like I have, not that he cares what I think, but I have respect for him when he plays the game. Now, there's all this other stuff outside the game, all the bravado and all that stuff. But in the game, like he's playing the game the right way, and he is competitive, and he does display toughness, which he's going to have to do. You have to, at quarterback, you have to, you know, you don't have to hit somebody every single play like the right guard or the defensive tackle, but you have to display toughness to your team by getting up off the ground and playing the next play, and he has done that through his college career.
You know, early on, when he was at Jackson State or even coming out of high school, there were folks who said, probably a next-level wide receiver. You know, maybe he can play DB. I think he's a quarterback.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you watch him. He's a quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you watch him throw the ball for 5 minutes, and you know that. Like he can throw it.
Yeah.
He can play.
It's also interesting when you talk to the players here this week about how they have been handled by these NFL coaches who simply said to them early on, listen, this is a job interview. Okay, this is a 5, 6, 7 day job interview for you. There's no curfew. You do what you got to do. But they're all in here at night. There's no, we're not going to demand that you do anything. But they're watching every minute of it. And I get the sense that, to a man, these players, and we're going to talk to Eric Galco tomorrow, who's the director of football operations, he prioritized character in signing these guys to play in this bowl game. And you get the sense that these gentlemen know what's on the line and what's at stake.
Without a doubt. I mean, they 100% know that they are making an impression. They are writing a story of themselves, and they are, like you said, auditioning for a job that is currently filled by another adult. And they've got to prove to a team that they should be in that spot as opposed to somebody that's previously been in that spot. And that's a tough thing to do. It's like the bar. It's 1 in, 1 out.
Right.
Like the fire code won't let you bring any more in. So somebody's got to leave for you to come in.
Yes.
So they know that, and they act accordingly.
Yeah, and they've done a nice job this week. Now we get ready to count it down to Thursday night. And tomorrow we're going to spend some time. Coach, we're going to talk to a couple offensive linemen because that's really important. We've got some defensive guys we got to visit with. Even though they're limited, they get a chance to showcase their skills because there's the one thing that we did notice today at practice, we got about 30 seconds, is there's a good, talented group of wide receivers out there.
Absolutely. Some beautiful athletes out there running around, playing fast. Some guys that look really good in their suits out there at wideout.
All right, we're going to get into that tomorrow night when we continue with another edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown here on Sirius XM. We say a big thank you to our on-site producer, Kyle Cross, our executive producer, Mike Parsons. For Justin Fuente, I'm Brian Estridge. Thanks for joining us here. You'll hear the game, by the way, live here on Sirius XM coming up on Thursday night. That will be an 8 o'clock kick here on Sirius XM.
The East-West Shrine Bowl Countdown has been a presentation of Bowl Season Radio and First Team Ventures.